Hello, everyone. So welcome everybody who's watching us today. I am in conversation with Susanna Mittermaier, the courageous founder of Pragmatic Psychology. And how did I get so lucky? And how did we all get so lucky to have her here? And I wonder what can we ask her and what can we receive. Feel free to ask anything that you'd like to. We'll pick up questions as and when they come. And the topic today is the pragmatics for your life, which is pretty broad and undefined and adventurous. Yeah. Amazing. How are you today, Susanna?
Cool. Thank you. I'm so happy to be here with you. And especially with that topics of the pragmatics for your life. That's awesome. And we're just checking because I think everything works now. We're good to go. Because if the translators just refresh the.
Yes, I can see us as well.
Yes, now it's working. Cool. Awesome. Awesome. So let's just, because we have people translating this one. So we were asked to just give them a couple of seconds to get on. So the people who are getting translation also can listen to the conversation in full and not miss anything. So I think that's it. And we're just going to wait one little second so we can get a yes. And it's okay, cool. Now it works. We're good to go. Super.
Beautiful. Yes.
Yay. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and before we begin, I would like to quote Susanna on something she said and pick her brain on it because I love how she's worded this. This is basically a question which says that what would become possible for a world if we chose to be the leaders of a different future that we truly are?
Yes. Wow. I love that. And thank you for reading that quote. The leaders of a different future. I think most people don't really consider themselves as leaders. So if you listen to this, you might want to ask yourself, so truth, am I a leader? And do I have points of view and definitions about what a leader looks like or what they do or how they act? Leaders are not just people who speak loud. People are not just people who speak in public or are in the spotlight. Leaders are people who have the courage to be different and who have the courage to know what is required in every moment to move forward and to move their lives forward. And that is something that most of us have not been taught, that this is of value, because what we've been taught is to be right and to avoid being wrong and to always making the right decision and to being good for other people and to being liked. None of those are leader qualities. So most of us have been taught to be followers, while there's a leader energy, a leader quality slumbering inside of us, asking to be acknowledged, recognized, and maybe even used and utilized for the creation of our lives and futures. And so questions are such a wonderful tool because they always supersede the structures, the points of view that we've been buying as a reality for us when they're not real for us. So when you ask, so truth, am I a leader? And you like, oh, something lightens up in you, something opens up in you, then you might recognize that there's something true about it, that you probably are a leader somehow. But maybe you have definitions of, oh, a leader is only someone who's in the spotlight or who is, like very loud. No, again, leaders are people who are just different, who are very different, and who, rather than worrying about being right, doing what they know is true for them. And that's a very important distinction that most of us have not been taught. It's like when you're trying to be right, especially for others, what is that creating for you? What, how does that shape your view of the world? What filter do you have to look through if you constantly worry about being right? Okay. If you, and now let's go to the other thing. If you do what's true for you, what is that creating for your life? How is that shaping your view of the world? And this is something we can practice and go for and choose more and more and more to get clarity on what is true for me. If I wouldn't worry about getting things right, what would I know is true for me? And I see this with, when I work with people on a practical level, when I work with clients, I work with people, in different fields like business people, um, uh, kids, teenagers, families. Like really, there's my range of different people that I work with is very, very, very huge. Because people ask, who do you work with? Everyone who's desiring change. And so with people like, let's say, who work with businesses, and if you create something new, a new product or something, what do you look at? Like which filter do you look through? Do you look through what makes me right, or what creates a greater future? That creates two totally different products. Or if you work with your kids, if you're a parent, and you go, what makes me a right parent, a right and good parent? Well, you're going to look through the filters of a lot of judgments and points of view. But if you ask, what makes me a parent that invites me and my children to a greater future, you probably make different choices as a parent. You probably make choices that are more congruent with you and that show you where else you can go in your life that others might not understand, but it creates something greater.
No, and it's so freeing. Like everything you're talking about is so freeing. So I think another, yeah, like how much freedom would choosing for you gift you, which like it's literally like relaxing my whole body and my mind space, because I mean, that is how much it, I think, unknowingly affects us, like not choosing for us.
Yeah. Yeah, choosing what is true for us. I mean, when we grew up, I mean, our parents, most parents have not asked, hey, what would you like? What is fun for you? Like what is school decisions or extracurricular, fun stuff in your free time. It has seldom been about fun. It has oftentimes been about preparing you to be a good person, you know and so so we have been growing up to know what is good for other people, what makes me a good citizen of the world. We are really good at that, most of us. But what we're not good at is, or maybe not yet, or maybe we are and we could get even better, is, okay, what is true for me, what opens up my world. And I mean, imagine if you were asked this as a kid. Wow, what would you have, where would you have put your energy? What things would you have explored that would have been fun for you? And those kids who get to have that space of, oh my God, I love playing with plants and so on, or whatever their interest is. What do they know already about their future? When kids do something that their parents go, why do they have such an interest in this and this? They should, like maybe they're interested in movies or whatever, and they watch a lot of movies, and the parents go, no, 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 they shouldn't watch movies. They should um, learn more about math or whatever they think is right. But maybe the child knows something. Maybe they know something that watching movies prepares them for the future that they would like. Maybe they would like to become an actor or something, where they know their future and they know what's required today to create that future. And that's a leader quality, right? So what if we foster that more? And what if exactly like the places where you think you're so wrong, what is right about this I'm not getting? What am I showing myself? What's the possibility underneath this?
Yeah. And what did you? I'd love to know, what did you enjoy when you were growing up? Like, what is it that you would spend your time doing? What were you different? What was different in you, and and
Yes,
like, did you get a?
great question. Because I looked, it's so funny. It's just like I looked at this the other day, and so I like what I loved to do was being in nature, just like the communion with the plants and just sitting by a tree and enjoying animals. And the other thing that I loved is reading books. From the day I could read, I loved reading all kinds of different books from different genres. And I didn't realize that that was different, because I'm like, I thought not everybody likes reading books. And then I realized no. And well, both of those things prepared me a lot for what I'm doing right now. I'm writing books, and I'm still reading a lot of books, and also that communication with nature, that taught me how to communicate in a different way with people, showing them a different communication with themselves, with their bodies, and the creation of their lives, you know.
So yeah.
Mm.
Wow. Can you talk a little more about like what you mean by communicating with nature? That's so interesting.
Yeah. Well, like all of us, like if we're being us, we're creatures of nature. And if you look at natures and animals, they're such a great, they show us so clearly on what can be true for us if we choose. It's like, um, people are dramatic, nature is pragmatic, right? Dramatic is where everything is a problem. Like literally everything in this world with people, everything is a problem. This person says this, oh my God, it's wrong. I said this, I'm wrong. It's always about right, wrong, good or bad, and looking for problems and expecting problems. It's like the moment people like open the computer or just talk with someone, they're expecting a problem rather than, you know, and rather than being pragmatic, where you um, are ready for possibilities the moment you open your eyes, or before you open your eyes, you're like, let's go. What's possible today? And that is something that I really, really, really would like to invite the world to. What if we could function more like nature in the pragmatic sense of knowing there's no lack, there's no problem. Like when there's something that shows up that's not the way you would like it to, like what does nature do? Like for example, we have a big tree here, and it just this year grew really, 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 like on the sides very much. And on the sides we have peonies. I think that's like these ones. um, and the tree was starting to grow over them, and the peony didn't go, oh my God, tree, you're so bad and wrong, and I am so, and I'm wrong because I'm so small, and you're right because you're big, and you're also wrong because you grow over me. None of that problem. They just like, the peony started to grow like this, so it could find a possibility to get sun. It's like, and that's what nature does. It always looks for a way around. It always looks for what else is possible. And that's where we could function so much more in our lives, like so much more pragmatic, where if you would trust yourself, if you would trust the universe, would you ever expect a negative outcome of anything? No. And that's like, why would you? I mean, we've been taught to be dramatic, where we expect negative outcomes of, money and business and creations. But if you really trust yourself, if you trust what you know, if you know what's true for you, and if you trust the universe, you would never expect a negative outcome. You would know that you're taken care of always. And that trust, we can start to practice more and foster more and choose more. Yeah. So that nature thing, I mean, I could talk so much about this, but if you just look at that more, um, this is something we can start to cultivate more, like where rather than this obsession of problems, we go for the joy of making our lives work for us. And If we're being us, oh my God, how much do we know that we could make every part of our lives work for us if we just allow ourselves to be so different and allow our difference to lead?
Thank you so much, Susanna. And I just like to, I mean, one thing I observed as I was getting up for this live was how naturally pragmatic I am. So, which is so interesting because I was like, yeah, like usually, like some of us are being pragmatic and are like our way of functioning is more pragmatic than I would say most people. And
Hmm.
I would invite people like, what can this program, which is starting soon in 4 days, what if it can nourish you, to hone that skill, like because what I'm getting is being pragmatic is a skill that can be honed, um, yeah, and I mean, anything on that.
Yes, absolutely. And it's something we are when we allow it. But in this world, it's like if you how much of the problems you guys are holding on to are you holding on to for others? To show them something, to facilitate them. Um, and what if that is not something we have to do anymore? What if true facilitation, what if true changing the world is where you allow yourself to thrive, where you allow yourself for all of life to come to you with ease and joy and glory? I mean, really, there's a new paradigm right now that we're jumping tracks or have jumped tracks where if you in the past used to be oh, let's like save everyone, let's take care of everyone, let's take the burden of everyone and just shoulder it and run around like this, um, as though that is changing the world. Like, little newsflash, those days are gone. Now there's a new paradigm. Newsflash. There's a new paradigm right now where you don't need to do that anymore. If you really want to inspire other people, go for the ease and the joy and the glory that is true for you.
Thank you. I mean, this conversation has enriched me fully, and I hope it has gifted something to all of you who are listening. We start a 10 call program with Susanna very, very soon called the Pragmatics for Your Life. We can't wait to explore because we'll be touching on different topics. Like, I love that it's 10 calls because it'll be like different topics and you can go in depth because that's what again I was also getting a download of how yeah you do function, you are being pragmatic in some areas, but then in some areas you're just like that thing doesn't exist. So yeah, I mean,
What if you can
anything.
have it all? Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. Because most people they have like, because the areas like, like let's say body, money, relationship, business, um, parenting, creation of whatever products you like, all of these things are where of in those, if you look at how many of those are where are you allowing ease, and how many of those areas and where are you not allowing ease. And it's so funny for most people, they're like, okay, if I have like 2 areas or 3 areas where I have ease, I have to kind of like weigh it up with 3 others that are not ease.
Yeah.
So I'm not too good, so I'm not too much, so I'm not too glorious, so I still can connect with my friends, so I can have something to talk about, so I'm not too different. What if we change this? What if we change this? And I don't know if like who is up for that conversation, who is really ready for that ease. Because I see a lot of people who love their dis-ease, and it's okay, it's not wrong. But for those of you who go, okay, I'm ready for the true pragmatics of my life, let's go. How about like leading with your difference and the ease, joy, and glory is possible?
Beautiful. I love how these conversations come together. I love it. I think I'm so grateful. Thank you, Susanna, for
Thank you so much.
joining us. And we'll put all the details in the link below, and you can reach out to me or anyone from Susanna's team, and we'll be happy to help you out. We'll be going on 29th May, so very, very soon. And then this
Yep.
adventure continues. Yeah.
Yeah, in a couple of days, and there's no prereqs for this program. You can join us, and it's 10 calls. I mean, there's a lot of things we go through, and you can ask your questions. And I'm looking forward. Thank you so much, Komal.
Thank you, and I'll see you soon.
See you soon. Bye.